All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Kayfabe Keaton, episode 45, with none other than heavy metal Gary Gibson.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, absolute pleasure to be having you on here. Such a champion like you. I believe you told me that you've reigned the championship for over 200 days.
200 plus, I can't remember the exact number, but yeah, something around that point, yeah.
And we've already got viewers coming in here. Not more champions in the Ttanic wrestling.
Oh, no mosh. It's not a mosh to me. That's these guys. They don't get it. You see.
And use your 8991 says mosh as well.
Oh yes.
So, Gary, thanks very much for coming on today. And what a weekend it's going to be for Ttanic Wrestling. Probably one of their biggest weekends. Having Subculture, the team of Flash Morgan Webster, and Mark Andrews coming over to Ttanic Wrestling in what is going to be a fantastic weekend.
A lot of big names that weekend too. Not just Subculture. Vanity coming over from Scotland too. But yeah, see, Subculture is some of the biggest names that Ttanics had in the last a long time. Yeah, looking forward to meeting them.
And as you said, there's Subculture's a special attraction, but there's likes of Amira Blur, and as you said, they're family. So there's some very big names coming over, and the household names. And the household names like you. So it's going to be a great weekend for Ttanic Wrestling. So and I suppose it's a very busy weekend for you. So I want to thank you very much for coming on.
That's not a problem.
So before we get into the questions here, I want to share this with my fans. So on the next Northern Ireland Pro Wrestling show, just let me get it here. Media assets. I will be wrestling for the NWF Championship, NIPW Breakout 4. Kid of Rock, Keaton Whiteside faces off against the Canary Kid.
Good luck for that one.
Thanks very much. So I can't wait for this one. You know, I'm very buzzing for this, but couldn't wrestle anyone better. The Canary Kid, one of the best that Northern Ireland has to offer for that championship. So can't wait for that. And have the same kind of gimmick as you, the heavy metal kind of gimmick. So what would you say is the difference between the kind of Kid of Rock, the rock gimmick, and the heavy metal gimmick?
I always kind of put it the way of whenever I started, Rocky Star was doing the kind of same sort of gimmick. So I would put you in the same boat there. So I had to distance myself from that quite a bit. So the way I put it was like yourself and Rocky was the band on stage. Whereas me being the heavy metal guy, I was in the crowd. So I was the mosh pit of the crowd, whereas the Kid of Rock would be the one on stage in the band. So that's where I kind of take the difference from my gimmick there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how did you first get into wrestling, Gary?
Started watching wrestling when I was younger. No age. Earliest memories is early SmackDown in the lower 2000s. Really early SmackDown sort of stuff. And then just kind of went from there, watched it over the years, fell out with it over the years and got back into it. And then I'd seen a lot of the Ttanic stuff posted online, and then they had a show in Derry, up Lagan, I want to say, up a foil, one of those ones, whatever. And I went to that, and that's kind of where I fell in love with the whole Ttanic scene. That was 3-4 years ago, I want to say.
And what about it, it's been for you, you know, being able to accomplish all this stuff. But also, I want to mention to you, so you were talking there about watching SmackDown and stuff. So what wrestler do you think influenced your style the most, or who you idolized maybe the most?
There's quite a few. All the greats are up there, the likes of Triple H, Undertaker, Jericho, all the big names. But I always kind of gravitated towards like the action stars, if you want to call it, like the Rob Van Dam, Billy Kidman. You know, the martial art kind of side of it too. Rob Van Dam has been a big inspiration for mine. Him, ECW style, Jerry Lynn, a lot of that kind of stuff. Really gravitate towards that.
So it's kind of like the smaller underdogs kind of thing.
Yes, Daniel Bryan sort of style stuff. Smaller, agile, faster. Not so much like high flying, more high intensity, more very heavy impact sort of stuff. That's where I kind of get my style from.
Yeah, so I suppose you would get a lot of your style from them guys because I suppose would you say in the ring that you're more an underdog and people wouldn't expect you to be so good?
I would definitely say that. Yes, it's well known I'm not the biggest guy about, but getting tossed about the ring, I'll still stand back in my feet and throw punches back just as hard as anybody else, if not harder. That's where I get the underdog kind of underdog vibe from.
Yeah, and that's something very good in wrestling. You know, to be that kind of underdog, but and fight through and with being the All Ulster champion. But looking back, maybe when you first started watching wrestling, or whenever, what was the moment where you thought to yourself, "I want to do this"?
Oh, I'm not sure if there was ever one particular moment. It's just every time I did watch it when I was younger, like I want to try that. Uh, I had a trampoline growing up when I was younger too, so of course, anytime the whole "don't try this at home" stuff, I was out in the back garden in the trampoline, wrestling with all my mates and all that there. So it
Backyard
definitely,
wrestling.
every single time, backyard wrestling. It was floorboards for tables and everything. We had the whole shtick going. There was never a particular moment. Just every single time I watched wrestling, I was like, I want to do that. That's was always the goal.
Yeah, and that's a great goal to have. So would you say that you were a pro wrestler from you were a kid? You know, doing backyard wrestling. Did you ever video it or anything?
I didn't actually. No, I never thought of videoing it. No. I don't think I ever could have done. That was just more so me and my mates just back then, just beating each other up. There was never anything kind of professional about it.
And so your style is obviously developed through legends like the Undertaker, Rob Van Dam, not Undertaker, Daniel Bryan, Rob Van Dam, people like that, the kind of
Mhm.
underdogs. So would you say that would you say now that over time being an underdog has kind of helped you through your wrestling career?
It has, because I can kind of see myself as not always winning everything that I do. It's always more of how I perform at the time. Just because I'm not always winning and hitting the big moves doesn't mean that I can always come back from that. There, fight from below, sort of always stay in the fight, as we're always taught. That's more of always being there, staying in the fight, and just kicking ass whenever I can. Really.
So you first discovered wrestling. You were obviously always a wrestling fan. Then how did you first discover Titanic wrestling?
A very, very simple answer to that there. They posted a show that they were doing in Derry, and that's 20 minutes up the road from me, so I went and seen it. No fanfare, but that there just happened to be part of watching a local show.
And then so after that, that's when you started getting into training. And who were the kind of guys who trained you?
I think it was about maybe 3, 4 months after that they posted the training. They were out looking for trainees, and then started training for that from that point on. My first training session, I think I was introduced to JDP on the first day, and I'm almost certain that it was Rocky. Rocky Star was our coach at the time, and then I kind of developed through that way there, and I met the Dark Horse as a coach, and then eventually got into coaching with the likes of Tucker and Myla Grace. I think HW Muscle had done a few coaching sessions with us too. A bit everybody from that way. A lot of the Ttanic roster has a lot to learn from.
You're right, and the kind of guys you're being coached by, former WWE talent like Tucker, which are probably very happy about, current signee of TNA Wrestling. And the funny thing is, both of these people have been trained by JDP, and
Mhm.
that's just proves how much of a great coach JDP is. So all these people that have coached you, what do you think is the best piece of advice you've got from them?
I think just everything just really builds up to itself. That every bit of advice they give you just adds on to the last one. I don't think I've ever gotten wee bits of advice like that doesn't matter to me. Every wee single bit just kind of adds up and adds up. The whole just treating everything slower to make everything more obvious. More so reacting and to everything that's happening rather than overcritically thinking everything. Just advice that has been passed down through the years from everybody. Just make things unique, make things stand out more. The less is better.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so then you got coached by, as you said, they're dark horse, some very, very good wrestlers. This is a question I like to ask a lot of the people who come on. What was it like taking your very first bump in the ring? What was it through your head?
I have a martial arts background, so the first bump to me was just another basic break fall back in the day. So it didn't feel too much different. But that's once you hit that first bump in the ring, it kind of sends that shockwave through your body, and that's the make or break moment right there. If you can't get that through your mind to kind of react to be normal with your first bump, that's not going to stick sort of while. But no, my first bump, I think it was Rocky Star took us through for the first bumps, and I hit the mat, and it didn't feel good, but it felt right at the same time. Like this is something I want to do.
Yeah, that sort of makes sense because when you start wrestling, now I'm in training, obviously. I don't know as much as like a lot of the other guys would, but I know if when you take your first bump, that's a lot of the other guys will tell me that's when you either want to do this or you don't want to do it, or it proves how much proves how much you really want it.
Oh, big time. The first bump sucks, no matter how long if it's your first bump or if you haven't trained in a week. The first bump back that's not great. But sort of the training, the drilling, everything just makes it easier.
Yeah, true. So we've got some comments in here from our viewers, which we'll bring in now. So TZS Videos asks, who is the hardest ever Ttanic?
Tucker definitely hits hard. I have never once felt his chops, thankfully. The dark horse, he has to be the top number one. He throws a punch like he wants to make sure I don't get off the ground. I've taken quite a few from him in my time, and those are the ones that are memorable.
Okay, so and Mary Molly asks, what's on your t-shirt, guys? So this is just a question for both of us. So you go first, Gary.
I am rocking Guns N' Roses right at the minute. Nothing related to you.
Related to the heavy metal then, so. And then I'm wearing a Ttanic wrestling t-shirt. Makes sense for this podcast. So, and Darren Whitehead asks, kind of rock and heavy metal Gary Gibson. What's the difference in rock and metal?
Metal's heavier.
Is it really?
The actual difference in musical styles is subjective. It's rock and roll is more groove based. Metal's more heavier, distorted. I can get into that technical details for it too, but whatever rock is meaning to be, metal is a step above that. That's always my take from that.
Yeah. And user 8991 says, what do you think you'll hold on to longer, the belt or the hair?
That's a running comment that I think I might know who that might be. I'm not answering that one. Definitely not answering that one. Like it's the belt's staying there as long as it can. The hair's staying there as long as it can. That's all I want to say about that.
And another Ttanic wrestler who we've had on before, Kayfabe Keaton Illumina, I suppose we could say. Franco DNA says, how many tattoos do you have and which is your favourite?
Before I answer that one there, I'll just like to put a wee thank you out for Franco from DNA for offering me the nice wee Miller mood drink. that he is now sponsored with, and it is very nutritious and delicious, and I recommend you buy more. As for the tattoos, I have, as you can see, too many to count. I've got my back done, I've got my chest done, I've got my legs done, all over the show. Not really a particular favorite one overall. I do like my full arm sleeve. That would be my favorite one, because the one I can kind of see the most.
And so now that Franco's commented on this, I want to give a big shout out to the new Walking with Franco podcast. It's kicking off well. You know, he likes doing his cardio and walking, and what no better way to do a podcast while walking. So I wonder who the first guest is going to be. I'll be revealed soon, so make sure to stay tuned for that.
1st of August, I do believe.
So make sure to follow that as well. But so Gary, now we've got through the comments here. As I said there. So how long were you training before your first match again?
I think I started around about May time. The date I'm not exactly sure on. Year wise, it's maybe 2-3 years ago. 6-7 months through a beginner's course, and then I think I debuted the March in the year after that. That's whatever many months that would be. So it was just under a year of constant training before I got my debut match.
Who was your debut match against?
My debut match was against the Dark Horse in Portadown. We were doing a live show that weekend, and I unfortunately lost my debut match to the Dark Horse, the current I'm the Ulster champion, the current Ttanic wrestling champion.
So you faced the Dark Horse, and what I'm thinking here is, because when I've gone on another podcast, the people would face their coaches on their first match. So would you say that because Dark Horse was one of your coaches, he kind of carried you through that match because you were still a bit inexperienced?
He did. He definitely did. I have to give him major respect for that there. He carried me through a lot, what was a tough spot on the card. I think we went on one before the main event too, so there was a lot of stuff that had already been seen during the day. I kind of went into that match knowing what I could do, but when it came to the actual match itself, I kind of didn't have much to give. So I think it was on Horse to kind of get me through that there a lot. And credit to credit's due, he made me look great in there, and that's just on him being so good.
Yeah, he has the physique and everything, so you kind of have to give him where credit's due. You know, the kind of wrestling skills he has, and because you were still very inexperienced, he made you look good. I'm not saying you weren't good. I'm just saying because you were a lot inexperienced, he kind of carried you through the match. So
he did the job right there.
I've got a comment here from Chris Mohan, who says, "How did it feel when Stu Parker turned on you for a handsome partner?"
Happiest day of my life. Felt the whole weight off my shoulder. I didn't have to carry that deadbeat son one beside me anymore.
And I believe that did happen. I was in attendance at that show where you were in a tag team with Stu Parker. So what was it like maybe at the start, tag teaming with Stu Parker?
We had great chemistry. We were the dudes with attitude. We actually, in our debut tag team match, we defeated the Boys again in Portadown a few months after our first one. So we went into that match against the Standard on a high streak, and then he went and done what he had to do, and well, let's look where it's got him there now at the minute.
Yeah, Ttanic Wrestling Tag Team Champions.
Former.
And Darren White says, follows up with a question saying, heavier heading from metal, Gary, and more malicious, chain wrestling from Kid of Rock, Keaton. So that's kind of him describing the difference in wrestling styles.
That definitely would do it.
Yeah, I think that's a good explanation for it. And Scenic Spot says, it's a question for me. Keaton, when will we see the Dark Horse, Tucker or Rocky on Kayfabe? We've had for a bit of we've heard of about these coaches. Well, we might get them on sometime. We have been in contact with a lot of these wrestlers. Are just kind of shorting out dates. So yeah, it's hard to get in contact. Well, it's not hard to get into contact. It's more hard to kind of like to sort out the dates because Tucker obviously he wrestles every day, which is crazy. Every day, and the Dark Horse and stuff. Yeah, they're very nice guys. And they said that they will come on the podcast. It's just a matter of dates
Yeah,
and stuff.
Thursday boys.
And it's on a Sunday as well, which Ttanic shows are normally held on. And user 8991 says, any recommendations or more just store ice?
Definitely not the fridge anyway, mate. That's a life fact there. If you've got ice, don't put it in the fridge.
Stars Lane say, remember that time you never pinned Stunning Stu Barker? Ha, dork.
I mean, yes, correct. He is right. But I also have a win over CJ Mohan, and I also have a win over the Stars Aligned in tag team action.
Well, that's a good accolade.
Therefore, I think that kind of balance that out.
Darren Whiteside says, I believe there's a tag team seminar coming up at Ttanic. Some great people you guys are rubbing shoulders with. Who has influenced you the most, Gary?
Yeah, the tag team, the subculture seminar. We're looking forward to that one now. Not being a tag team specialist myself, I'll still pick up hints and tips from them too, regardless. Influenced me the most. It's hard to pinpoint one particular. Just I learn from the best, as many as I can go along. Any bits of advice, any tidbits I get from anybody always just adds and helps me grow consistently.
And again, you can follow Gary Gibson on his social media. See if I can find it here. So have some of your socials in there. I'll get to it later. But and the 1 minute wrestler Jesse Jackhammer, as usual, saying hello to me. So hello, 1 minute wrestler Jesse Jackhammer. Make sure to follow his channel as well. Shout out to him. So now that we're done with the comments, Gary. So you've competed in lots of different matches. You know, as a heavy metal Gary Gibson. So what's your favorite match you've ever competed in?
I have most of my matches are kind of my favorite ones. Let's see, if the Team Ttanic match against the CSACs up there. My match with the Wanderer quite recently it's up there. One of my earlier matches with Rocky Star was incredible for how early I was in my career. I'll go back and watch that one quite a lot. My title win against the Pretty Big Deal was incredible. And then my most recent match against the Suplexer Sister Edmund was my first soiree into hardcore wrestling, and it was an experience. That's one I'll definitely take with me for the next many years. So
you competed in a hardcore wrestling match. What was that like?
It was completely different to what I'm used to. I'm used to out wrestling and fighting back and using technical ability over power, whereas in this one we were just swinging weapons left, right, and center, and that I felt quite at home. I'm not going to lie. There was chains, there was trash cans, there was bacon sheets, there was ladders, you name it. It was there. I had a ball.
Yeah, it must have been the best experience, but it's kind of helped. Do you think it's kind of helped your wrestling style to compete in different matches and maybe not be in your comfort zone?
Oh, 100%. Say, coming from a singles wrestler, I can't always focus on just doing that style of a match. I've had tag matches. I've had 8-man matches. I've had multiple 8-man matches. I've had hardcore matches, I've had Rumble wins. I've been in triple threats before. I've had a bit of everything in my time. It definitely helps me flesh out my own ability a lot more.
Yeah, I just found them again here. It took me a minute to find them, so I've just got them up here just to bring them in. You can follow Gary Gibson on Facebook. You can follow Heavy Metal Gary Gibson on his profile, Gary Gibson Heavy Metal on TikTok. You can follow him on Instagram at _Gibson _metal. And then you can follow him on. You can follow Ttanic Wrestling, where he wrestles, on Facebook to see all the latest Ttanic wrestling news. So make sure to follow them.
Plenty of socials.
So, we've got a comment here saying, "Can you guys please give a shout out to Dylan Mooney, please? He's a big fan." Okay, so it seems like Dylan Mooney's a big fan of you and me. So, big shout out to Dylan Mooney. Hope he's watching here. And a big shout out to him.
Dylan. Stay Mosh.
And then Wrestling Insider asks, "What's it like? Yeah, just before you get announced by Mr. McAlinden, are there nerves? How do you stay calm?" That's a good question.
I long story short, I don't. I am a nervous wreck. Internally, I am shutting down, but externally, I suppose that's where the heavy metal atmosphere kind of gets me going. My entrance music has quite an extended guitar solo at the beginning, so I use that to hype myself up. And if anybody's ever seen me behind the curtain, I am giving it hell for leather when I am getting ready to go out. So that there kind of sort of brings me back into, gets me in the heavy metal mode, I would say.
Makes sense. You're going out in front of so many people to wrestle, and I can just imagine them kind of nerves. But the music kind of calms you down, I suppose. Yeah. And so now we're going to go into our watch along here, where we're going to see some heavy metal Gary Gibson matches. There's some you sent in for us, and there's some I think we've added in as well. So let me get to them in a second. There we go, got it. So this is the watch along for heavy metal Gary Gibson. Sorry, it just takes ages to get in. There we go, finally.
What do we got?
Oh, let's go. Nothing. Oh, there it is. So this thing is what's going here, Gary.
That is my All Ulster Championship match against the champion at the time, the Pretty Big Deal herself. To get into this match, I won a month prior the Blunchillen Battle Royal. After I lost the inaugural All Ulster Championship 6-person match, being pinned by the Pretty Big Deal as the last sole survivor, essentially. So then I won the Battle Royal, declared my opponent as a Pretty Big Deal to challenge herself at, I believe this is our Christmas show, and then got my singles match against Pretty Big Deal herself for the All Ulster Championship, and I think the history kind of writes itself from there on. This was a hard-hit match.
He is too close to the ropes, And
Would you say this is one of your proudest moments in wrestling?
Yeah, oh, it definitely is. Not only to win my first championship in Ttanic wrestling, but in my entire wrestling career was definitely up there, and the crowd reaction I got from that was incredible. It's a moment I'll replay constantly.
Getting under the skin of Pretty Big Deal.
And Pretty Big Deal was
ego is so inflated that perhaps the best
a great competitor in the ring.
Is to get under their
I'd
skin.
happily stand in with her anything.
Oh, the outside.
Try to throw guy against the
Absolutely,
outside.
and Ttanic spot just tells us to be fair. And the commentary down at Todd, please, so it's turned down there. To be fair, it is quite loud. I just turned down there, so tell us in the comments if it's a bit better now, if you want it turned up or down. But we'll get back to that. So PBD, so you get to face PBD, Pretty Big Deal. One of the best wrestlers in Ttanic. Quite a long reigning Ttanic wrestling All Ulster champion, and you finally dethroned Pretty Big Deal. So what was it like being in the ring with Pretty Big Deal?
She hits hard, and she's strong, powerful. So I went in there with quickness and agility, and to be more tactical. As if I go toe to toe against the Pretty Big Deal, I'm not winning that. You know, he's a lot bigger and he's a lot stronger than I am. And this, I do believe, is my. Oh, you didn't even hear it. Massive chop that's winded me for quite a lot of that match.
That's not good.
Yeah.
How did you carry through the match if you were wounded?
I was just sucking in breaths and getting deep breaths in any chance I could, just particularly right there. I'm just sucking breaths in just to get myself back in again.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Got myself re-energized, if you want to call it. I felt fine after a while. As I say, at that point
Being
there, it's
wounded
just
is not a good
more.
feeling.
Yeah, that sucks. PVD hits hard, and every single strike just there clean, every single one of them. I felt them all.
Would PBD be able to overtucker with chops?
Oh, definitely, yeah. 100%. And
Nice flex there.
Patsy Thunderblock there too, just as the ringside assistant for the Pretty Big Deal. Patsy Thunder, sorry, my apologies. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this match. This was quite a performance I put in.
Yeah, and you fought through quite a lot as well to take the win.
I got my ass beaten this match, I'm not gonna lie. Like spinning side slam there took that. Yeah, it's not an easy kick out.
And Shane, you told us about getting winded, you know, while taking chops. What's one of the worst injuries that you've ever had?
I had a match where I hit my head against the ring apron very early on into it, and I wasn't hurt or I wasn't concussed or anything, but I was kind of knocked for a bit of a loop, so I was like had a little bit of a delay kind of in my mind, so I was kind of like a second behind what I was actually doing. So I think that was one of the worst injuries I've had. In my last match with the Redmond in the Full Metal Mayhem match, I took a suplex onto the ladder and I ended up with quite a heavy bruise and quite a large cut on my lower back. But again, that's the dangers you get from whenever you're in a match filled with ladders and everything.
It's the dangers of wrestling, I suppose.
You don't get taught how to bump into a ladder on day one of wrestling school.
And
the Pretty Big Deal. Good.
Do you ever have any regrets or anything after doing wrestling? You know, let's say you got a suplex on the ladder. Do you still stop any motivation?
Oh, that wouldn't stop me. If I can still physically get up and go home that evening, then I've no regrets from that there. If I can still get up and move, then I've done it right. That's kind of more the whole being safe with yourself and just taking all the bumps and all on your own. This second one here, that kick alone, I think slightly busted my lip a little bit. Because I remember the rest of that match, I was feeling a bit of blood on my mouth. That was a heavy kicker. No shame to the Pretty Big Deal. She was kicking me in the head. These things happen.
Exactly. And being the Ulster champion, as you were saying about it there, you've heard it, obviously everyone's heard the term blood, sweat and tears, and you went through blood, sweat and tears in that match, and you went through a lot of pain even just throughout wrestling, and it shows your dedication in the ring being the Ulster champion. So what do you think being the Ulster champion represents?
Grit, determination, as you said, blood, sweat and tears. I get out of this championship reign as much as I put in, and I will put in every single thing I have, every single time, and not just for a championship match, but any match I have. I'll put in anything I can give, and I will get the best out as I can.
Both competitors are spent now.
You always do. You always put on an incredible match every time I sit there in the audience. I can't wait for you to come out because you put on such an incredible match every time.
I step through that ring and I give it 100 every time.
That's what a champion mate is.
Oh, PBD blocks a shot.
Oh.
Beautiful European uppercut.
That was very, very heavy. I felt that one.
Oh, wait a minute. PBD hook in the arms.
Oh,
IPBD was going to go for one of the finishers there. That's what it looked like anyway.
The denouement. I believe I was the first person to. No, correct. You know, I may be the first person ever to take it, as when she debuted the finish, and that still remains. No one has kicked out of it yet.
It's actually a really cool move to do.
Takes them down.
The old classic Victoria Widow's Peak. It hurts. It's a sheer drop neck breaker. It's not fun.
So you got in store.
You know, all us fans that are watching in the crowd have no clue what wrestlers have to go through. You know, we just get to sit there and enjoy the entertainment while you guys are risking your bodies and risking lots of stuff, and just for the entertainment of pro wrestling.
Oh, 100%. I just threw myself off the second rope there. I didn't win the match, but I sure as hell felt it. And if I'm right, I threw myself off the top rope right now.
What's he calling for here?
If the second didn't work, I go try the top.
Oh, what a move!
God, straight in the head.
And with that
That's,
heavy metal character, go ahead, sir.
That's not a soft landing. Let me tell you that. That's a move I like to pop out very, very rarely. In fact, I've only ever popped it out once.
Two. It was on the rope. And with that heavy metal character, would you say that? Well, I want to know who's your Mount Rushmore heavy metal band.
Ooh. I like the classics. I like Metallica. I like Iron Maiden. Manowar. If I had a fourth one to put up there, I'd be doing a disservice to everyone else. I put Saxon. Metallica, Iron Maiden, Manowar, and Saxon. That's my top four.
Good list. I completely agree with Iron Maiden. They're one of my favourite bands.
what's she doing? She's been ejected.
And would you say that, I know they're not wrestlers or anything, but would you say that you would kind of get maybe the craziness of Iron Maiden and different styles of these bands in your wrestling character?
Oh, 100%. What got me into heavy metal was the early days of wrestling, when all the entrance themes was big heavy metal bands playing. Motorhead done Triple H entrance and all that there. It's all those bands influenced me right from the beginning. And here we go. You know, Dawson and Trace. I believe that is 3.
Finish.
The heavy metal that's definitely influenced my in-ring style too. More hard-hitting, sort of real balls to the walls attitude.
So tell us what's going through your head at this moment while winning the All-Ulster Championship.
If I could go back in time and see into my mind at that point there, I'm pretty sure it will be completely empty. There is not a single thought in my head. That there is just pure euphoria just flowing through me right there. What do you think at that point there? You know, I'm just realising I hold the title upside down there. That's a shame. But no, it's not a single thought in my head there. That's just living in the moment.
Must result in some sort of fine for them. And Gary Gibson looked like it's going to be taking advantage of. Boy Diamond has saved the day.
And we've got a couple of comments coming in here.
Has not forgiven PBD for what PBD.
Darnwhite says PBD is a large unit. I'm guessing they hit hard.
Oh, and credits here. They say in gym style, mass moves mass sort of way. PBD is strong. That's one word I can say about her. She's powerful. She picked me up there and threw me about there like ease. And hits hard. It's how do you prepare to get punched in the face, that hard?
Now, what's next, Jury Dimes, between Boy Diamond and PBD? PBD.
Manny Molly asks, ever do a TLC match? Ever hit anyone with a guitar?
My emotional mother in the corner. Never done a TLC match. I say Full Metal Mayhem is as close as I've done to TLC. We had ladders and chairs, there's no tables. The guitar hit would be up there. I've a few spare lying about there that I could use to sway the odds in my direction a wee bit. But I don't think I could bring myself to breaking a guitar over somebody.
Well, you never know. We could see a new kind of Gary Gibson, a new heel. Would you ever actually consider going heel?
I actually haven't. One of my earlier matches, I was a heel again with the Stu Parker back in the day as the snake that he is. But I seen the light and turned away from that kind of life. So I don't see myself going back that way. But I mean, never say never, I suppose. What needs must.
Yeah.
And this is
And
when
Baggett
Rocky
says
Thor. Once more right there. Well done, Greg. Thank you very much. Rocky, he had just won a triple threat match for the number one contender for my championship. It was originally meant to be me and Rocky, but then a pretty big deal and Bobby Diamond got involved in the running, so therefore it became a triple threat match.
Bit of an impromptu match here. Oh my goodness!
As the commentator said, impromptu match, me and Mr. Owen Richards himself
Huge strike to Rocky Star.
goes and plays
This is ridiculous.
does that behind my back. I'm looking after poor Rocky, and then he goes and attacks him from behind.
Yep, and that just proves how much of a veteran he is. He does them kind of tactics. So, what's it like wrestling? Owen Richards, a veteran like that.
Incredible.
Ttanic gold here.
Again, same with PBD. He hits hard, and he doesn't let up. He just keeps on going.
With the arm drags. A lovely drop kick to the
So I just had to hit back even harder. Sometime. That was
Owen that is actually so.
Oh, he's incredible. The moves he can pull in the ring is insane. I think this is the match here where I just took punishment after punishment, but I just kept on getting back up again.
And what's your favorite move you ever performed in the ring?
That right there was the suicide dive that was terrifying. My favorite move, bar my finish move, the death metal driver, that has won me most of my matches. Let's see. I have a lot of my big moves. The mosh pit elbow, I love hitting that. The side effect I call the B side. I love my drop kicks. I'm not gonna lie. Everyone that knows me says I love a drop kick. I think if I can pop them out in every match, I will.
So would you say the drop kick's one of your favorite moves to perform? Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's my go-to. I'm never stuck to what to do. Drop kick.
And the drop kicks that you do are, the drop kicks that you do are quite on point and are awesome. To be fair, so how for trainee wrestlers who are maybe watching this, how can you perfect a drop kick?
I say I love doing drop kicks, but mine aren't the most picture perfect ways of hitting them. It's kind of throw myself in the air and put people in the head. As for hitting a picture perfect drop kick, it's about height and accuracy, I would say. Get a good squat, leap in the air, full body extension. That's more than I can say about it. Jump and kick. I have no more kind of tech. I know Bob Holly and like the Randy Orton have like real picture perfect drop kicks. I tried to learn them from the Dark Horse, but he's a lot more of a physical specimen than I am. So trying to do something that he can do is a lot out of my league.
Any thoughts? Asks, can you remember your first heavy metal chants or fan posters?
My first posters, I know the last few times that I've been in Conswater, I actually think my first fan poster was, well, I'm not going to say a fan poster, but more like my family poster. They were up. I almost certain that was myself versus Stu Parker. There was a lot of posters there. And as for the first heavy metal chants, I remember there being quite a few whenever I was wrestling Rocky a while back. I think that was one of the first ones that I've heard from the crowd there, and it got me right in the moment. It kind of made me feel connected to the crowd.
Name, probably what you've dreamed of when you were a kid, having someone chanting your name and having posters of being a pro wrestler and people cheering for you and stuff. So how does that feel?
Oh, it's incredible, electric. It's a feeling I cannot describe. How do you describe it, really? The crowd's chanting your name, wanting to see more. It's that is an adrenaline fueled rush. That's the best way I can describe that.
And you're definitely one of the fan favorites at Ttanic. You know, for only being there, how long have you been? How long have you been doing matches for? Maybe about a year and a half. Yeah.
Let's see, 2.5, 3 years, 2.5 years. I want to say something around that point. I'm not too clued up on timelines. Give or take about 2.5, 3 years or so. And yeah, it's definitely kind
And
of.
you've become one of the fan favorites at Ttanic.
So everyone keeps telling me to, and somehow it's happened. I'm not quite sure how, but it's happened.
I think it's definitely because of your character. You know, the heavy metal kind of character, and you're the underdog, as you described it earlier in the podcast. You're one of the underdogs, and you've shown that through determination. Now you're the Ulster champion. So there's a saying, everybody loves an underdog. So maybe that's why.
The whole never give up, never back down, never surrender kind of always comes to mind there. If I'm down to get beat, then no one really wants to see me come back again, sort of way. So if I'm constantly getting myself back up and back in the fight, that's where my mind goes there.
Now there's a big weight difference there between you and Owen Richards. And you just picked up Owen Richards, which is pretty cool.
That took a lot out of me. He's not calling it, shaming or anything, but he is a lot heavier than me, but heat of the moment, just have to muster that strength and pick him up and put him where he need to be. Just wasn't enough.
You never got the win there.
Nearly did. Raid the Lightning 2.0 struck.
And being a champion of one of the definitely one of the best companies in Northern Ireland, definitely in the top two, like one of the best companies. in Northern Irish wrestling, and you get to carry their championship. You're kind of one of the main guys there, obviously, being their Ulster champion. How do you see the state of Northern Irish wrestling going?
Improvements every single day. Every show that everybody puts on just keeps getting better and better. The people want to see it more. The crowds keep getting better. The fans keep getting more into it. Everyone just wants to see more. There's no slowing down. Northern Irish wrestling is on the rise, and that's the way I like to see it.
And how do you? So you, as you said, there are Northern Irish wrestling's on the rise. So with Ttanic wrestling, do you think that's made a big influence on Northern Irish wrestling? Yeah.
Oh, majorly, yeah, majorly. I wasn't too clued in to PWU back in the day, so I don't know too much about that. But seeing Ttanic from what it was when I started to when I had started seeing it to what it is now, it's been leaps and bounds better. Everything's getting bigger and better.
You're right. It just keeps getting bigger and better, and even this weekend is another point to that, another statement to that. With there being some very big guests coming over, like Amir Blur, Vanity, and the biggest guest, Flash Morgan Webster. So it's a very big weekend for Ttanic wrestling and Northern Irish wrestling in general. So how do you see that going?
It's incredible. These big names say. We don't need the big names coming in. They're just kind of an added extra attraction. We have the Ttanic roster alone is packed full of talent that's incredible and hungry for anything they can be thrown at. And the added extra talent is the overseas stars are just icing on the top of that cake. Even just to learn from the backstage is incredible. Even likes of subculture, and I'm not a tag team wrestler myself, but to learn from what they've been through and sort of any information that's help that they can give to me is going to be incredible. That's added on top of the likes of Amira Blair and Vanity and even Michael May, who'll be tagging along too. A former All-Ulster champion himself back in the PW days.
So that'd be a cool match to see if Michael May comes back and faces off against Gary Gibson for the All-Ulster Championship, former All-Ulster champion.
That could be one for the history books right there.
And speaking of that, what's one of your dream matches for wrestling?
Dream matches. I've always had quite a lot of them. Rob Van Dam, Chris Jericho, but that's never going to happen. Alistair Black, the likes of Indie Star, like Warhorse, Stephen Flo, the ground gimmick guy. But I'd love to be in the ring with him. It's so many dream matches. Even subculture to be in the ring with him. JDP is one of my big ones. Even half the Ttanic roster too. I would love to wrestle them. Any of the guys in the back?
Yeah, to be fair, when you mentioned Alistair Black there, I think your promos and your kind of character sometimes would remind me a bit of Alistair Black. I think you're both very like.
Yeah, it's sort of. I kind of would describe myself as kind of picking off his style too. That whole athletic kind of martial arts heavy hitting sort of background too. And you put in like the heavy metal and the tattoos, kind of everything together kind of looks a lot similar.
This is a standoff here between Owen Richards and Gary Gibson. He's wanting to speak here.
I was expecting a handshake, and he gets on the microphone and has quite a few kind words to say, so I have to thank him for that.
That's what he has to say.
Have your respect. Even more respect now.
And look at that. Fair play to Owen Richards. He is faced against unbelievable.
Good showmanship there from Owen Richards. Good sportsmanship. The fellow Ulster champion of Ttanic wrestling, Gary Gibson. Were you expecting that?
I was not. Definitely was not expecting that at all. And I say in the moment there too, I was just like, yeah, just take it in. And it wasn't until I got backstage that I realized kind of what actually had happened. Getting the respect from Owen Richards, a veteran of the sport, that felt incredible.
How did you develop the name? This is a random one, but how did you develop the name in the I'm trying to remember the name of the Maestro.
The Mosh Pit Maestro. I kind of took the heavy metal and I wanted to upgrade it as such. Through, I think I started using it after I won the championship. It was I wanted to make it the next level up. So I thought, what's bigger than heavy metal? So I kind of tried to focus on that there, and then I thought, Mosh Pit, and then because a maestro kind of controls orchestra stuff like that, I'm not overly clued into what he does, but the controller of a mosh pit would be the next step up for heavy metal as a whole. That's where the name came from.
Yeah, it's a cool nickname as well. It makes sense, and I suppose you kind of are the leader of Ttanic. I suppose one of the leaders of Ttanic being one of their champions.
I wouldn't call myself a leader any such. More of a learner still too.
And at the minute, have you broken PVD's record as the longest reigning Ulster champion?
I think I have. Yes, I think I have broken it. It's I'm not too sure on how long the reigns are, but I think I have extended the reign. The longest reigning Ttanic wrestling Ulster champion. We sat up there for over 200 days.
Hasn't went out of your shoulder.
Oh, definitely not.
And you've described some of your best matches, but what would you think? What would you say is like your best title defense, or maybe your hardest match?
Let's see. My first title defense against the remorseless Eddie Stone was in my home crowd. Slightly home crowd of Eglinton. That was a tough match, especially for the home crowd too. To bring my A game there. One of my last ones against the Wanderer was tough because he used so many underhand tactics that are illegal that he should have got disqualified, but I still fought through and came out with a victory.
And have we any idea who the Wanderer really is?
I've never wondered. To pun for pun. Nah, he's a solid guy whenever he's not speaking.
And strange guy, I suppose. We don't know who this guy is. He's appearing in Ttanic. We have no clue who the guy is.
He wandered in and he wandered away. Hopefully he comes back soon because of a bit of a score to settle there. But yeah, I still have that wee elusive W.
And so, what's next for heavy metal Gary Gibson?
What is next? Defend the championship. Break the longest title reign is my end goal. Realistically, it can be done. It's just a matter of grit, determination to make it happen. And if all else fails, lose the title, win it back again. I think that's in the future for me.
And Gary Gibson is still going strong. He's still holding on to that championship. Won it off PBD and hasn't lost it since. It's became the longest reigning Ulster champion, and I can't see him losing it in the future. And if he does, he's already said there he's willing to win it back. So as we're coming to the end of the show here, I want to thank you very much for coming on, Gary.
Not a problem.
And I have
Thank
one
you
last
very much.
question for you. So to anyone else trying to get into wrestling, like a trainee wrestler trying to get into wrestling, what advice would you have for them?
Start off small. Do it. You'll never start it if you don't start it. Never get better if you don't start it. So simple explanation to start it. Learn what you can. Stick with the basics. Learn the fundamentals. Anything better comes from having good fundamentals. As they always say, why try to run when you can't walk? You know, stick with what you can learn first, and then everything will come from that way.
Okay, so thank you very much for coming on, Gary. It's been a quite a fascinating interview, hearing all your memories of wrestling, some stuff I didn't know, and hope everyone else enjoyed it. So I want to thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Stars Alliance. Hope you enjoyed that one.
Thanks very much.
Anytime.
And so hopefully I'll see you at the next Ttanic show or somewhere else. But I want to wish you the best in your future wrestling career.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks. So what a fascinating interview we just had there with heavy metal Gary Gibson. He's surely going to be holding on that title for very long. Really fascinating interview. But on the next Kayfabe with Keaton, we have coming on the 3rd of August at 7 p.m. Session off Martina, one of the greatest Irish wrestlers in Ireland right now. You know, she's really defined women's wrestling, not even just in Ireland, but across the place. And she's just an incredible performer in the ring. She's really developed her character so well. She's a world traveler. She's traveled to Japan. She's been on WWE, NXT UK. She's done lots of different things. She's been the OTT Women's Champion and probably the best women's wrestler in OTT. She had an incredible match against Debbie Keitel. So it'll be great to hear all her stories in wrestling. And I suppose the lifestyle that it was like in these different countries, like Japan and different places. So it'll be great to hear from Session with Martina. And again, unfortunately, tickets are sold out right now. But for the next NIPW breakout for the Kid of Rock, we'll be going up against the Canary Kid for the NWF World Championship, and I cannot wait for that one. So if you enjoyed this podcast, please hit subscribe and like it as well. And also, again, I just want to mention again that you can follow Gary Gibson on you can follow him on Instagram at Gary Gibson Heavy Metal. You can follow him. Sorry, that was TikTok, and now you can follow him on Instagram, and then you can follow Ttanic Wrestling on Facebook to hear all the latest news. So thank you all for watching. I've been Wrestling Revolution Keaton, and goodbye.